Well, hello and welcome to Bite Night. You guys, this is a theory that goes back a ways, and I wanted to know more about the bite because most of us that have done any research at all into the Idaho 4 have heard the rumors about Ethan getting into a fight. And it has been alleged at some point that it happened at Sigma Chi. I do find it interesting to me that we had that video for a while. I showed it a couple videos back where it's Maddie and another blonde and Xana with Ethan and his brother. And they're all on the back patio and they punched a hole in a can and they're chugging the contents, right? Excuse me. Forgive me a moment. Sorry about that, my loves. Ah, Lucy Lou Who. Thank you, my beautiful. She has just gifted to our beautiful, amazing 1111 family another 5 true crime memberships. So, welcome Janice Chambers, Angela Smith, Tina Skull Scar, Storm Dancer, and Carol A. I so appreciate you guys. That is so cool. I also want to welcome back Sherry Cross, Cherish63, Care in Canada, Big Mikey, and Mama Scheibel as well. And that is from your 1111 family. So, how is everybody doing? Lorraine B., Lorna, Kelly Alport, Sass Brass, Lucy Luhu, Jilly Lane, Dixie Bishop, Mrs. Jonesy, hello. Welcome back, beautiful Seeking Rainbows. And welcome back, Miss Jonesy. Jill Elaine, Sassy, woo, we got a Sassy. Hey, shout out to you beautiful moderators. You do a beautiful job, Sassy and Interior Family Studios. And, um, well, I'm trying to think, we have so many. Jenny, Joyful, Jenny Troglin, Joyful Dolphins, and Wildfire. I'm trying to think of who else. I hope I didn't leave somebody out. Now I feel weird. Like maybe I shouldn't even started that. Thank you to everybody that helps with this channel, and forgive me if I left somebody out. All right, you guys. Born Pack Rat. There we go. That just came into my mind. I think Born Pack Rat was like from a distance going, "Hey, me." Hi, Storm Dancer. You're watching on the telly? All right, you guys. Are you ready to get into Fight Club? So, for me, let's get this going for you. There we go. For me, I wanted to know where this rumor started because with every rumor, it's alleged that there's a small bit of truth that you just have to peel away all the confusion and misdirect and so forth and get to the bare truth. And I'm like, all right, let's see how far back we can go. I did not dedicate like 4 years of my life to this. So if you have better information, feel free to share it with me. I will share if you want credit. That's great. Rubberducky2005 at yahoo.com. But this is what your girl got for you. So let's get over to the University of Idaho murders. This is on Medium. So we'll get that down for you. There we go. And it talks about this BMO. And that's what kind of starts off this weird theory. I say weird because it's almost as if the original theory may have like a second shoe falling, the other half. Almost like if this is going to date me, but Walter Cronkite, wasn't it him that said the rest of the story? So if the rumor is that there's a fight that took place at Sigma Chi involving Ethan Chapman and a Sigma Chi member, allegedly, just a theory. Where did it come from? So I decided to do a little digging, and on this section it says the first insider info, and it talks about just some theories and so forth. And this is that infamous um, 4chan connection, right? Here we go. So can I make it any bigger? I cannot. And if I move it, we lose it. Okay. So 11/28/2022. So if it happened on the 13th, what are we talking? 7 and 8, 15 days. So a little over 2 weeks after the actual homicides. This person is anonymous and they don't know anything after the 28th of November because it hasn't happened yet when this is posted. Keep that in mind. This person says, I have it on good authority, parentheses, cousin is a cop in blank, but called in to help in Moscow once school started back up. Now, let's stop right there. I'm asking you guys, is this Pullman? Is that what's blacked out? Is it Pullman? Because wouldn't that be something? Cousin is a cop in blank. All right, let's continue. Apparently, the investigation is looking directly at the Sigma Chi frat party Ethan and Xana attended from 8 to 9 that night. So, do you remember in the beginning when the law enforcement pressers were saying they could only verify that Ethan and Xana had been there till around 9 o'clock, and then we were like, but they didn't get home till 1:45. So where were they? So there was that time frame, and I'm saying that gives a little bit of credibility to this 8-9 o'clock timeline. Let's continue. He did not have any update on their timeline after they left from 9 to 1:45, but did say it looks like the investigation is honing in on two suspects from the party that night, and an update should publicly name them by the end of the week. Let's stop right there. Two suspects. So go back to the first pressers we heard. Possible multiple occupants, right? Janice Chambers is saying when it comes to that blank spot where it says cousin is a cop in blank, she said, I bet it is. Exactly why. Susan Roscoe says, called to help Moscow. I agree. Pullman, in my opinion. Second Spring Trap Lover Channel, welcome so much to our 1111 True Crime family. You say there's a filter or something you can do to see. I'll have to find the TikTok and I saw how to do it. Ooh, I want to know now. Can we take this screenshot and if I take it from the original site, can we backtrack it through where the original photograph came from, where it wouldn't be redacted maybe? Hi, Sherry Irvin. Long time no see. Jenna Roberts says, running late. Just made it here, though. Hey, mods. Hey, chat. Hey, Mrs. 1111. Good to see you all. Well, thank you, Jenna. I've never been called Mrs. 1111, and I love that name. That is so cute. Kim Bernier. I always say Barnier. Am I saying it right, Kim Bernier? Pullman and Moscow work together, supposedly. Well, they're 9 miles apart, right? It can't work without them working together. So they obviously do. And I'm saying that not like flip or anything, but I'm saying it's quite obvious that their lines have to get muddy in some way, right? Oh, it's Shannon, but the sun changed it. So, Second Spring Tap Lover Channel says, wasn't everybody watching their phone that whole night. So, what time was it that they went to the Grub truck? I think I got that right. It was a little worded strange, but I feel you. Well, we're going to get into that a little bit, right? So I'm going to walk you through this and give you what the theory is. And then as we go, I want your input, your feedback. I want it to be very interactive. Hey, writing solo and Elsie, hello, hello. And Joni, good to see you. You guys would think I'm so stupid. I literally wave at you with my hand as I'm saying hi. I know. I don't know why I do that. But I feel like you can see me in some way. I don't know. Here we go. And I have validated this. Sigma has made their social private and their socials private and removed all info from Facebook going back a few years. Yep, they did that for a while. Like there was a dirty delete kind of thing where it just was wiped. And it says downstairs survivors. Isn't that interesting? They already knew at that point that and this was well before we ever heard that Dylan ID'd anybody or that she even could possibly have seen a suspect or anything. Now remember, according to Brett Payne's PCA, I believe it says something along the lines, don't quote me, about Dylan coming out of her room because of hearing all kinds of noises. She thought the dogs were playing outside or upstairs. The dog was playing upstairs. There was noises going on, and she thought it was part of a party, right? So here we go. This person that's anonymous all the way back 2 weeks after the homicides says downstairs survivors could hear two males rummaging through the room above them. Figured it was an after party, locked the doors, and went to bed. When they discovered them in the morning, about 30 minutes before calling 911, they called their friends at Sigma to come over, who in turn called the police. It's right across the street, and for whatever reason, they believed it was people from Sigma upstairs around 2:15 that night. Right? What? You guys. Let's continue. And this is crazy. Right here, listen to this. Back door was left open. One dead in bed. The other blocking their room's door with their body. Now let's stop right there. It was allegedly the front door that was left open. That's according to neighbors reporting that, as well as the broadcasters. One dead in bed. You guys, if you're looking at it from the perspective that they're talking about Xana's room, it says one dead in bed, the other blocking their room door with their body. Is this where we came along, this concept that Ethan's body was blocking the door? And that would put Xana allegedly in the bed. However, when we go back to Brett Payne's PCA, piece of work, where he claims it's his affidavit, which is a sworn testimony, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check that, but I think it's your sworn, yeah, it's your sworn testimony. He claims that he was either told something along the lines of Xana being on the floor and being the first body seen. I'm reading text, you guys. Okay, Susan Ruskell points out back door had a missing lock latch. So it could have been the back door was open as well. We don't know. One could have been the entry, one could have been the exit. Doors open. Then you've got easy access. When you're like going in, you're not messing with the other side of the doorknob. You're not leaving excess risk for leaving DNA. And, you go out the other way. So Susan Rusko says that's what Hunter J told Steve G, that it was Ethan. Yes, PCA says it was Xana. Sherry Urban says they're all liars. Who knows? Let's continue, guys. Police just updated their Facebook to reiterate they are not looking into the activities of the night, only the murders. Stop right there. That is true. They told us that. Why in the hell would you not want to know the victimology? Because obviously something occurred that brought this situation. It didn't just all of a sudden somebody was like, yeah, I'm going to go get something at the grocery store. Maybe I'll get Skittles. No, I'm going to stop here, kill all these people, get back in my car, and go back to grocery shopping. That didn't happen. So what in the hell are they talking about that they're not going to investigate? And then they did. They just kept it to themselves because we did see a lot of police officers at Sigma Chi. It says, it goes on to say, which to me suggests something went on. Bite, drugs, etc., and spilled into anger later that night and got them killed. Goes on to say, also didn't want to release profile they created as it would cause undue fear in the community, i.e. Greek life. More coming shortly. Exactly, Lorna. Lorna, you nail it. Don't you need a timeline to solve the crime? Susan Rusko believes, in her opinion, it was a shut them up motive. Mert Seeger, welcome to 1111 True Crime. You say you have to wonder if someone unlocked them deliberately, meaning the doors. Like, are you meaning from inside, you guys? So let's keep going because that's the earliest I can come up with where I could get the basis of where this was stemming from. What I would like to pull out, and I wish I could highlight this, well, and I could, but let's just do this. This person talks about several things they could not have known, right? So it's talking about the two suspects. Well, they weren't looking necessarily for the white Hyundai Elantra then. So how did she know or he know about two suspects? Where did they come up with the Sigma Chi situation? But yet at the same time, they're right. Sigma Chi made their social private, their socials private, their Facebooks, everything for a couple years there. And they believe at that time that Ethan and Xana were the main targets. And do you remember when Steve Gonsalves was saying they didn't need to go up there? Meaning what? That these people were just angry at Xana and Ethan? And then for the person to say downstairs survivors could hear two males rummaging through the room above them. That's believable to me. That to me, I don't know why, but that two males would be upstairs in my personal humble view taking care of two individuals, if you follow me. Dana Lynn says Bethany is the most only person that have returned home time from Ethan and Xana. Now a second defendant has come out in the court docs. Okay, you guys, make sure you type it good for me so I can read it good. Susan Rusko says, planned for when Kaylee was there. She was a true crime seeker as well, and her injuries were way worse than Maddie's. Janice Chambers says, yes, exactly. I remember seeing a news clip saying the blood outside was from Ethan in bed. I remember seeing something along that line as well. Jilly Lane says, so many different stories. How do people who really know live live with themselves? How do they really live with themselves? Monique says, and this is a good point, so many things being done to misdirect non locals. Merritt Seeger says, allegedly, one of the dads fixed a lock, so they obviously did not want it open. That's the other question, you guys. If Xana's, okay, we have talked about Xana's bedroom window, right? The ledge looked like something red. If Xana and Ethan had actually decided that night to lock their door, the intruder is coming in through a window. I'm just telling you. Because those kind of doors, when you're in there, they lock from the inside. It's not so somebody else can get in my humble opinion. So let's walk that for a minute. They lock the interior door, but they don't really think about the window because they're on the second story. But we see a ladder. We see red substance coloring on the roof part right below that window of Xana's room. Okay? Now, if they can't get in the room, it could be more than just Ethan's body blocking it if it's locked from the inside. We also heard that all the doors of the victims were locked initially. So when the police arrived, might be a completely different scene. If the roommates were like, what the hell is going on? Why are all these doors locked and why aren't these people answering their door? Are they even in their rooms? If there's no other blood but in their rooms. So if the intruders came in from outside through the ladder that gets them up on top of the roof and then is there for them to get back out, and then they get into the room and they do their job, and then those two exit while the other two have gone up using a fireman's ladder over there, up, or just simply climbing the tree, you guys. I have seen these kind of college students climb trees that are 50 feet tall. I don't know why people freak out when I say it would be 3 seconds to get up on that balcony from that tree. These kids jump off roofs. They're brats. They're swinging from tree to tree like the monkeys. I know I'm going to get hit for that. But anyway, let's keep going. So, 2 go in through the top, go in through the sliding glass door. You hear Murphy bouncing around because there's 2 people, just like this is saying. Males rummaging around through the room above them. This is them too. One distracting the dog. Hey, Murphy, because I know him. And they're like, hey, Murphy, yeah, yeah. All right, you got it, got it. All right, shut the door. Bam. Somebody says, someone's here. That's how they know. The dog's barking. This is when all hell is breaking loose in 2 rooms at the same time. This means no one of the victims, not one of the victims, has a chance in hell with 2 perpetrators in each room, especially as small as that room was with the girls upstairs, of getting to their phone and getting 911 called. It would not happen. Not with 4 perpetrators. And if you want to call me a conspiracy theorist, that's just great. I'm good with that. Because I see 4 people, which would be a conspiracy to commit homicide. We have 4 victims. And what do I see? I see 4 people being ignored by a police officer on his cam, leaving that area in a hurry. It leaves my mind to draw these questions, and I walk that theory. So, did it all stem from this fight? That's the question. Flying Monkey says, he says. Tanusi Connie says, if Brian was a true vegan, how would he or any vegan be able to endure all that blood? Just a thought. Truly good point. Kelly Allport, welcome to 1111 True Crime. There was a body in the hallway, though, in front of the door. And that could be Kelly. But that could be how The police found it after they broke in. Could they not get in the room through the door? Did someone go get a ladder? We'll go in through I'll look through the window, see if anybody's in there. Was it the frat boys that decided to go in that room, see the victims, go, holy crap, unlock the door, come out, and in doing so, they had to move some bodies? I don't know. It sounds crazy, but at this point, the truth is even crazier to think about, and that is that nobody called any help for 8 hours. So something went down. And then did they clean up because they had, was there this moment of, oh shit, we look like we committed this crime, even though maybe they did. And so they were like, help me get out of this. Like, get rid of my shoe prints. Oh my God, we got blood everywhere. I don't know. I'm just whipping some stuff out like spaghetti to the wall right now. Susan Rusco says it was Xana's bedroom door, second level on the house. Front door was the first floor. Correct. Correct. Hi, Annette S. Hello, hello. Funny, those poor boys who were exactly as I believe are not innocent in my opinion. The timing is perfect. Right? Tenancy Connie says, another question I have. If the door was blocked by a body, then how did the killer get out of the room? Bam! Question of the night. You nailed it. Tanusi, Connie, you nail it. Another question I have. If the door was blocked by a body, then how did the killer get out of the room? Did they use the window? Is that what we're seeing? All right, you guys, let's jump over real quick. This is a little TikTok here. Let me get down to, I'm not playing the sound of it because there's music. This is Sophia Karamashiba. Okay? I might have the wrong video. Oh Lord, did it play this whole time? We may not have a video. Okay, I lost my video. Never mind. All right, so forget that. Erase that thought, reconfigure, and readjust. So what that was about the BMOs that were going back and forth. And we have $6 BMO going out by Ethan Chapin a little after 11. And then $6 after death is donated by a student that had received the $6 from Ethan, donates it to his memorial as if a payback. Why $6? Why even money? It begs a moment to pause. And then what's even weirder is a guy that Ethan is paying $6 to, allegedly, I believe, don't quote me, but to the best of my understanding, it's his sister, that then sends a BMO that says 3:30 a.m. and it's dated for that time frame. And I think a BMO's attached somehow to that. So that's got me going. And I'm like, wait a minute. So then my 1111s were whispering in my ear, and they're like, wait a minute, you guys. Mrs. 1111 here, on our videos of the Grub truck, all their phones are lighting up at the same time. And they're yelling out Xana's name and Ethan's name and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, okay, so I watched it. I can't validate it, but I can't say it's not happening. I do see their phones were all lighting up at the same time while Kaylee and Maddie are at the Grub truck. And what I also recognize is there's a complete disconnect with Kaylee and Maddie with the people around them. There's definitely tension in the group there. There's tension, a lot of tension. And it makes me feel like they're going to get you mean something more because they're hearing that from allegedly Jack Showalter before they get to the Grub truck, and you see Maddie kind of like almost brush up against people like and not even apologize like I don't give a pluck no more. And then she does the, FU symbol, right? FU mister or you effed up, something along that line. So she's kind of like being like hostile. And it makes me wonder who they pissed off. So what's really, really weird to me is this the one? Oh, I hope this is the one. Let's check it. Like I realized I just lost all the links I was going to show you. So I'll have to do it different where I record certain parts so I don't lose them going forward. But Ethan and Maddie went from X amount of runs to one less at the same night of the murders on their what is this? I can't remember if it was TikTok, whatever it was, one of their platforms. They lost a friend. And if it would have just been one of them, but it was like 32 or it was like 32 friends, now 31. And then on the other person's it was like 30 friends, now 29. And I can't even validate that that's real. But what it did make me wonder was if this is all boiling down to the fight, maybe because Hunter, the brother of Ethan that was allegedly at the Sigma Phi meeting there, he claimed there was no fight. And I wondered. Steve G said there was a hell of a fight downstairs. A hell of a fight downstairs. Is that the Sigma Chi fight where we have Sigma Chi brats and Ethan downstairs get into a fight and the guys leave pissed and then come back when they expect them to be more asleep? Just asking. So Kelly Allport says it was a piece of paper they were passing around. Excuse me. Tickety Boo asked, did someone have something on a cop or cops? They had to get rid of them. Well, and that's the other thing. We have those 4 individuals. I need to get a drink. I'm going to pause for just a moment. That's a great question. I mean, we've got the. I'm choking almost. Like I can feel like me not being wanting to say this because I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble. I just don't. But I will say it is very strange that we have the non civilians. There we go. The non civilians in an unmarked car and frat boys over here almost like a distraction. They're not falling down in the street. They're not really getting anything but minor tickets. They seem compliant, but it's almost as if it's like, look over here, smoke and mirrors. Look over here. We're even going to release this. We're going to give it to you. And it's almost as if they didn't even know or analyze the footage to catch what else their cameras caught. Sinners Only says, wait, on the BMO, all payments at 3:30 a.m., they were for $6. I wasn't able to find where that came from, but that is what is being shared. That is what many people do believe. And I would love to find something to show you guys like a receipt on that. But that is what a lot of people believe. Susie Smith says, I think the girls knew about the other murders. What did you say to Adam? right? Janice Chambers says, I believe the body language says a lot in the Grub Truck video. They are booking ass to get out of there. They cannot wait to get away from Jackass. You cannot tell me flipping somebody off and then hurrying the hell out of there and making sure that that person can't track you because you're moving fast enough is not sending a signal to someone. It's like go, go, go is what I got from the girls. Amanda Johnson, welcome to 1111 True Crime. You say, why would someone leave a non DP state, okay, to cross a different state that had the DP? Right. Right. If you're truly planning this as a psycho killer, why would you go into that state, which, if you do get caught, it's over, game over? So, Tanusi Connie says, in my opinion, if Ethan was throwing barbs about steroid usage and somewhere in college on sports scholarships, it would give motive, in my opinion. If they were all tested, then it would be very costly to the brat. Well, it would be very pricey in other ways than money because it would also challenge championship trophies, right? So I think you have a very, very valid point. Yeah, everything's in our opinion, you guys. Susan Rusko brings up, who else has seen the documentary on crime sleuthies on Paramount? I don't know. I'm going to go look at it. I figured I'd do that over the weekend. Now, you guys, Monday night is going to be for members. Um, and so I will be taking off tomorrow, but members will have a private members night on Mondays where we do the same thing, only it's members only. And but we will be sharing the chat with everyone, so you won't have to miss out on the conversation. And you could be gifted a membership, so make sure you're in the audience in case that happens. But the chat will be members only. But the broadcast will be for everybody. I don't want to leave anybody out. Sherry Irvine said, I heard last night that one of the victims was put in a wheelchair and pushed around the street. She was already dead. Have you heard this, Momedy? No. Good Lord. See, I don't believe that kind of stuff because there would be too many talkers. There would be too many cameras. We would know a lot more about it before now, I guarantee you. That's just my own opinion. Sinners Only says, also, 51TB. The FBI may have had an ongoing investigation, and that's why so much. If Kaylee was working with them, FBI would want to remove any association so people involved wouldn't know. Now, I want to tell you guys something, and to me, this is important. I've heard from a lot of locals that there was a great deal of fake Bureau of Investigators in that area prior to this occurring. So, just food for thought. That's locals. They bring it up quite often to me because they try to justify it. They're like, maybe there was something going on already because there was a lot of, black cars and hush hush and for lack of better words, ABC affiliates, if you get what I'm saying, not as in TV, but ABCs, three-letter establishments. Second Spring Trap, Lumber Channel. You just never know. We get given memberships all the time. You say, hopefully I can become a member before that. You never know. If you're in the audience, it can happen just like that. Ah, Dana Lynn says, I believe that look at the identical black SUVs and LL footage. Mm-hmm. I find it so strange that it's this tinted window, dark vehicle, allegedly, that the girls were driven home in. And then that's when Ian Harsh brings up seeing this weird car that he'd never seen before, black, tinted windows, shiny and new. And then, I mean, my mind just reels from some of this. Janice Chambers says all the heads spinning and whispering like everyone was in on a big secret, right? Hey, what was war is here, says Pryor. Hello, lovely, hello. Susan Rusko says exactly, but I'm not sure Kaylee was helping them. But Dylan getting her there that weekend, and my thoughts on that. Yeah, that's a big problem for me, too. Like, here's a red flag. Dylan, the surviving roommate, being the beggar that got Kaylee Gonsalves to return back to that location and go as her number one, and then it comes back on her that she lives and her roommate doesn't, and then to even add more salt to the wound, it's 8 hours before her friend that begged her to come gets anybody to help. It blows my mind. C.A. Bevanford, hello, lovely, says there's an Eastern Washington anti-drug task force listed online at about the same time. See, we might be getting into something here. Sinners Only says, with all the money that the parents of other possible players have, why in the world go to University of Idaho? Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm not going to touch that one right now. I'm going to let you guys keep sharing your thoughts here. Janice Chambers at the Grub truck. Yes, use of illegal substances affect the students. It also affects the university and their dollars, in my opinion. Well, and you guys, when I say affects the university, think of like it could be that it affects the university in the way of they're the vandals. It's all about their sports. They're the vandals. It's everything. Once a vandal, always a vandal. It's everything. And that means trophies. And that means their identity is completely attached to that little emblem. And that emblem shall not be tarnished, right? I mean, I'm not going to name anybody because I do not victim blame. And I feel the parents are victims here. I really do, because if you lose a child, to me, you're a victim. If you didn't cause it, right? Disclaimer, because there are some parents that are definitely not victims. We're watching the Montgomery trial. I say we are. I can only stomach little tiny pieces, and I cannot watch a great deal because I have seen it in my head for the last couple of years, and I can't. Amy Lane says, frats and sororities give member numbers, maybe 6 representatives, a certain person. Oh, maybe 6 represents a certain person. Ah, Tanussi Connie says, I enjoy your videos. Thank you, lovely. Sherry Urban says, heard there was an uncovered bus going on and got spoiled because of the unalivings. Ooh, that could be 2. That could be 2. Thank you, Sassy. Janice Chambers says, Spring Trap. Kaylee saved and finances it to her mother said. I do want to ask you guys a question. And I'm not trying to stir the pot, but it's going to divide the room. And that is it true that Kaylee had over 50 bank accounts, or is that a rumor? Can we dig as a family? Because I know when you guys dig, you send me the information. And I tell you guys, it was our 1111 family because most of the time people will tell me, don't say my name. I don't want anybody knowing I found this. And I'm like, okay, so I've got us covered, our 1111 family. Um, I agree. Janice Chambers' second big point of the night, jealousy plays a huge role in her opinion. I agree. And so did the very beginning. We were told that this was a crime of passion. Susan Rusko said, I heard 10 bank accounts. Okay. Lucy Lou says, I heard she had a lot of bank accounts. Why would you have a lot of bank accounts? Huh? Ooh. I almost think this is the top question. You guys are getting so good at this. What was war? Ask this question. I want you guys to just pause a minute and really hear me. Does the U.S. Army investigate the murders of Purple Heart recipients, i.e., Brent K? Excellent question. Tanusi Connie says, I will never believe the killers went out that house and not a single drop of blood was left. Tunnels? Question. Says, that's not normal to have that many bank accounts. That many accounts screams illegal activities, in my opinion. No offense to Kaylee, right? All right, you guys, I love this name, and I want to welcome, and hopefully I say it right, Nani McPoppins Bubble Bottle says over 400 witnesses, the defense is having difficulties getting any of them to talk to them, getting doors slammed in their face. Huge chunk of witnesses could be possible from the GT and the LL neighbors. And what about Fight Club? And what about Fight Club? Is this boiling down? I'm about to really spill the beans here. I've been kind of like wanting to get to this thing, but is this boiling down to this theory? Let's summarize. Is this a fight that was supposed to take place under just Fight Club, where it was a pay per view and the BMOs were sent out at $6 a piece to who won the fight, in your opinion? So, in other words, I would get a word that Ernie and Bert were going to have a go down tonight, a shakedown. I'd hear about it. Somebody's going to film it. All right? So, as I want to see this, if I want to see this footage, I have to technically place my bet. Okay? And to do that, I'm going to Vimo $6 at the start of the fight to be able to view it. And is that what's happening around that 3:18 mark on the band field and stuff with the kids are on their phones and they're watching? Are they watching this? Because we heard a scream on the non-civilians clad in black with their unmarked car on their cam. And then these guys are on their cameras, on their phones, I should say phones. And then at the Grub truck before that, we've got people also doing stuff. So was there a fight? And then did Kaylee and Maddie walk into the aftermath and their collateral and then they're thrown in their beds? Denise Koenig says, that was a great question about the Army investigating the murder of Brent. I'm going to ask my nephew. Yes, and get back to us, Denise. This is why I want to do these podcasts, because we do have resources. We have the power of mass amount of people doing the research, and you don't have to have a platform. I can be your voice. You can send me the email. I can show you receipts, right? Janice Chambers says, I think that's a total rumor. I'm on it. All right, get into that, you guys. Get into it. Is it a rumor? I'm challenging you guys to come up with some receipts for us so that we can put some stakes in the ground when it comes to these BMOs, when it comes to the $6. And I don't know why, but intuitively I keep hearing 6 cents, which was about a movie that says I see dead people. And then I'm thinking of the 3:30 a.m. Venmo and I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? And Tracy Gear brings up, why would 400 witnesses not want to speak? Are we in Erie, Pennsylvania? Anybody? Okay. Great question. Man, you guys are like nailing this to the wall. Second Spring Trap Lover Channel says, but why knives if they were just a fight club? Well, if words got used and somebody spoke up about their substance being removed, the supply being flushed, Fight Club could have went to a whole new level of retaliation and anger and hatred. And that's basically what sums up this. And if these people were on a rush from said material, they might be a whole new meaning to Rush Week. If you follow me, I'm being careful. Sinners Only says it was Next Level Fight Club. It was a quote SNUFF fight. Drone footage coverage never done before. Cutting edge. Makes you wonder if that could be the truth. Tickety Boo says I'm going with rogue non-civilian silencing them. Something big that one or more had found out. The non-civilians have been proven to be very dodgy. Agreed, Tickety Boo. So you guys, next week, after our members, we're going to get back into Stickergate one more time. I still have to correct that, make sure everybody understands I have the wrong person's face on there. I want the right person held accountable. It is the two responders that were first on the scene at the IDAHO4 case that allegedly saw Xana, according to Brett Payne's PCA and affidavit. That's the same thing. Um, they saw Xana laying on the floor first, allegedly, right? And their involvement was absolutely questionable when it comes to what's right and wrong, in my opinion. To the best of my knowledge, they suppressed evidence. They interrogated a minor and basically approached something that should have been very simple in a very technically aggressive, overzealous, and in my opinion, I believe it was illegal as hell. New news. Yes, I did it wrong. I did it so wrong. So I want to make sure I say an apologies. I didn't even get the guy with the picture. I didn't even get his name right. So his real name, I don't think was said. It was somebody else's, but I got things screwed up. But the story's the same. It's just I got to get the right name in the beginning and the right picture. So I want to redo it next week. Will I be doing any more tarot readings? I am taking a break from tarot readings because it's like the divine is pushing me so hard right now in an inquisitive way to get to the bottom of this case. And I have pushed the tarot cards and spirit's knowledge as much as I'm going to get out of this case. There's nowhere else for me to go with it on this case. And I'm so focused. But I also want to get into the Delphi case. So I'm not going to say no. But at the same time, I always go where I'm guided. And I'm also guided to not work alone. I'm being told to work with my 11 family and give you guys the voice that you need. And okay, good point. Susan Rusko says that's in the court documents that Payne saw a body later to be identified as Xana. Correct. Dana Lynn says, I can tell you 100% that bike clubs are real in colleges. Janice Chambers says, did y'all hear the rumor about the address numbers adding up to 6? That's not a rumor, lovely. 1122 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 2 plus 2 is 6. And it was 2022, which is 6. And it's 1113, which, if you look at that way, 1 plus 1 for the 11 is 2. 1 plus 3 is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. So you have 6, 6. It's not alleged. It's not rumor. The date as well as the address added up to 6. Now the question is, why are 2 victims alive, which I'm glad they are, but why are they alive if the 6 was the big deal? That's what holds me back. Why just 4? If this is some sort of a religious sector that's gone haywire, why would they not also seek 6 victims? So that to me holds me back a little bit. C.A. Bevanport says, at the high school I taught at, we had girls doing bike club until we found out. Holy crap, thank you for sharing that. And the 13th, right. Exactly, you guys. What was worse is predictable numbers, correct. Tiki Boo says the 2 survivors were not there. That's a good question. That's an excellent question. All right, my lovelies, we have hit the top of the hour as we're going into um, almost a full hour. And let's get your music going, you guys. Get back over to our thumbnail. Whoops. I screwed it up, you guys. So you're going to get it open and close. There was a 6th roommate that survived and went to the hospital. I don't know. Were there 2 prior deaths that somebody counted as 2 and then they added on to it? Good questions. We're going to get back together on Monday for a members where it will be members chat, but it will be live to everyone because I love our 11 family and I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to hear everything, right? And then we will be back at, I almost said survivors chat, and I do feel like we are survivors in a sense, right? We survive the true crime atmosphere every day trying to get to the bottom of this, and it's not always healthy. So I ask you, pick a time for yourself, whatever time that is convenient for you, to take a recharge day. Give yourself a hot bubble bath, get yourself a warm blanket, get yourself maybe some cookies and some milk. Watch a favorite movie, something lighthearted. Get your mind away from all this horrificness, right? And detoxify your brain. Because when you do that, and I do that, we come back with fresh eyes, fresh thoughts, and we see much clearer. You guys have made my weekend incredible. I love you to the moon and back. I truly do. All right, you guys, here we go. Your music is here. Maybe. Have a great weekend. I will see you Monday.